All right. Ask God before you do anything, before you speak a word, before you make a decision, whether it is small or it is big. Ask God. Inquire from the Lord. Whatever thing that you do, let your life be filled by direction from the Lord. Because a lot of people do make mistakes, and then after they realize that God was trying to communicate to them, that God was trying to tell them not to do that thing, not to speak that word, not to take up that business decision, not to meet that person, not to enter a relationship with that person. Inquire from the Lord. Now, look at David. Whenever he would go to battle, before he would go to war against his adversaries, he would first inquire from the Lord. He would inquire from the Lord whether he would have victory or he would lose. And the Lord would tell him to go, and he will win. And that's how you see that many of the battles that David had, many of the people and the things that were against him, is that David was so victorious because he put God first in everything that he did. In all the battles, he always praised the name of God, the Lord. Even when he was about to fight Goliath, he always praised God. He always put God first. God was his shield. God was his protector. He was his provider. He was his source of strength. But you find a lot of people go into business meetings, get involved with people, get into arguments, into all sorts of activities, and they do not think about God. They think about God when they are in trouble. And yet God was trying to tell you something. Now this is the same thing that I've done. I always put God first in everything that I do. And that explains why for those that have grown up knowing me, and those that have studied with me in various universities that I've gone to, is that I've always been on top. I've always been one of the best students. It is not because that I was the smartest. It is not because that I was the most intelligent person. It is because that before I took a test, before I went to school, I always asked God. Even the questions that I'm going to answer, I asked God, is this the right question? Yes, of course I do preparations. I do read for the tests. I do read for the exams. But there are points where I reach to a point, and all the numbers, all the questions, I know them. All the questions that they have said, I have read them. I have an idea about them. But before I answer them, I ask God, which question do you want me to answer? Which question have you set up for me? Because just because you have read everything and you know everything does not mean that you're going to be successful. Some questions are tricky. So whatever test that you take, some of you are at school and you are going through tests, or some of you even you could be going for an interview, a job interview. Whatever test that they put before you, ask God. Some of you could be going to meetings, business meetings, or meetings with your colleagues. Even it could be that God has shown you your spouse or somebody who's a potential spouse. And before you go to that meeting, ask God. Because there are people who come into your life just to waste your time. It is very dangerous to get connected to a time waster. Because you do realize that most of your time will be wasted. You would have done something that is productive. You would have set up something that would be beneficial to you and those that are around you. But because of the time waster, because of the connection, that's why you see, it's one of the reasons Jesus never had a lot of people around with him. I mean, he selected the 12. Of course, people would move with him when he goes to preach the word of God. People would move with him. People would come to hear the gospel. But the inner circle, he had 12. But you find that we live in a world where people entertain everybody. Anyone that sends them a friend request, they are so quick to accept. Anyone that sends them an invitation, anyone that proposes to them, they are so quick to jump into that bus with them. Not knowing that there are some people who come with a diabolic agenda. And listen, there are people that are used by the devil without them being known. They do not have the knowledge about it. Yes, to them, they could have good intentions, but their actions, their words are diabolic. They are used by the enemy without them knowing. So be very careful who you accept into your life. Ask God, is this person right for me? Are these words that are spoken to me over my life, are they the right words? Because listen, not every word that you hear, not everyone that speaks to you means you well. And not every word is for you. Some words are just there to destroy your life, to sow seeds of destruction. They are seeds of destruction in this world. So you need to be very careful. Be prudent. And I've spoken about this. Be a prudent person. Have the Spirit of Jesus within you. The Spirit of God. Be spiritually minded. Do not live like a carnal man. Because a carnal man will not understand the things of God. And to be carnally minded is enmity to God. That is enmity. Many people do not know it. That they have set up themselves as enemies to God. And it is very dangerous for you to be an enemy of God. Because we know what happens if you are an enemy of God. The story ends with that person losing. So in whatever thing that you do, ask God. Whether it's just going down to the grocery store, ask God. Does He want you to go to that place? Does He want you to speak that word? Because not everything that is good for you. It could be good for you to eat that food. It could be good for you to interact with that person. But it's not good in reality. It is dangerous. Yes, it may be good for your neighbor. At the level of faith, it is good for him to listen to that, to those kinds of words. But to you, it is not good. To them, it may be good for them to eat that kind of food. Their immunity system may be different. But to you, the moment you get involved in that thing, the moment you eat that food, diseases enter your body. Your immunity is weakened. The moment you say certain words, distraction comes to you. So ask God in whatever thing that you do. Ask Him for direction. Where does God want you to be? Does He want you to be in that location? Or He wants you to leave the location? Inquire from the Lord. Well, I hope this word has been a blessing to you. I hope it has encouraged you. And go ahead and share this video with somebody else. And until next time, be blessed.